Hey, what's happening, everybody? It's your man, brother, More Motivation. Today, let's talk about fat burning explained using a graph and the difference between steady state and HIIT cardio, and why a lot of you aren't actually losing fat. So, the first thing I want to do here is distinguish the difference between HIIT and steady state. So, steady state is the best way I want you to think about it is going at a constant speed where you can maintain. That's my definition of steady state to where somebody that doesn't know knows. And HIIT is sort of change of speeds, direction, and intensities. So one of them is more effective for burning fat. And in a few moments, I'll show you a graph and explain it in more detail so that you understand why it is so beneficial. In order to burn fat, you need to be in a certain zone for fat burning, right? The more cardio you do, especially if it's steady state, the more your body adapts. And the quicker your body adapts, the less fat stores your body uses for energy. When your body becomes efficient at using a certain amount of calories for energy, it is going to stop using your fat stores. So when you get in a certain intensity zone, your body will resort to using your fat stores after it's done using glucose for energy. This is when fat burning actually happens. So the fat burning zone is normally 80 to 90% of your maximum heart rate. To get your heart rate, you take 220 minus your age. So let's say you are a 20-year-old person. You take 220, subtract 20, and your maximum heart rate is 200. So 80 to 90% of that is your 80 to 90% heart rate, basically your fat burning zone. So let's say for this sake, it's 170 to 180. That is the range you want to be to get in the fat burning zone. Here's a good thing about fat burning. And here's a good thing about that zone specifically. When you get in that zone of fat burning, your metabolism increases for up to 48 hours, between 24 to 48 hours, even with a 20-minute HIIT session. Okay, this is the major difference between HIIT and steady state. The calories you burn in steady state versus the calories you burn in HIIT is totally different. Because when it comes to HIIT and the fact that your heart rate is elevated to a certain rate, because you have to go to your fast stores, it gives you the advantage. Okay. So I'm going to share my screen now to show you a graph and to distinguish the difference between HIIT and steady state and how HIIT uses fat so that you're burning fat while doing it. So let's check out my screen. All right, so I have my screen here. Okay. So this is basically a graph talking about fat and how you're using energy um, when you're doing HIIT exercises versus when you're doing steady state. Okay, so to the left here is the percentage of calories you're burning. On the bottom is basically the percentage of intensity you're using during your workout. So this represents uh, steady state, and HIIT represents high intensity interval training. So the blue represents fat as fuel. The green represents carbs as fuel. So you want to think about your body like a vehicle, okay? In order to conserve more gas, you normally put your car in cruise control, right? At a certain stage, even after you lose a bit of gas, at a certain stage, your body, the vehicle, gets used to the speed and becomes more efficient at using the gas for energy in order to get the car from point A to point B, right? But if you're to start a vehicle and go from 0 to 100 real quick, you're losing a lot of fuel, right? The body is similar. So when you look at this graph and you look at where this is, this represents steady state. So especially if you're under the intensity of 70%, you're using carbs as fuel, okay? And the more use you are to the steady state, the more efficient you get at using your carbs for energy. So you're burning calories from the carbohydrates, but you're not burning as much fat, okay? So let's say we'll ramp up your speed a little bit, right? We'll ramp up your speed to, 80%. This is when you start to use fat for energy, right? Because at a certain point when you're doing your steady state, you run out of carbs to use for energy to fuel that workout. So when you run out of that, where does it have to go? Your fat stores. This is why the fat burning happens. So if you know how to do workouts, which force you to stop and then go full speed, this is when you're going to be using your fat stores for energy in order to fuel that workout, therefore also burning fat. And here's a cool thing about HIIT as well, especially if it sprints, multi-direction movements, and quick explosive movements. You're building muscle in the process. You're burning more fat. You're increasing your metabolism for up to 2 days. These are all additional benefits to HIIT cardio or HIIT exercises. So it gives it an advantage. But the biggest con about it is you cannot do it as long as steady state, because obviously steady state is made for you to be able to adapt to and to go for a longer duration of time at a steady pace. But HIIT is meant for you to get gassed out, basically. It's meant for you to run out of gas so that you're using fat for fuel. So you're burning as much fat as possible. This is a simple way I can explain why HIIT benefits you more for burning fat than steady state. Okay. I'm going to go up the screen here to show you what this graph looks like of the fat burning zones. So on the bottom, you have the age. On the side, you have the heart rates. Okay. So as I said before, to get your maximum, you just take 220 minus your age. That's your maximum. Of course, here it says 200. For a lot of people, it's going to be 200, especially if you're in your 20s. But as you age, it's going to be slightly lower. Okay. So what I said before, my math was correct. So around the 80 to 90% range, you're around 170 to 190. That's your fat burning stage if you're in your 20s to 30s. But as you age, that number decreases, obviously, because of how much your heart can take at the present time. So if you want to burn fat, you have to be in the 80 to 90% range. Okay. But of course, this thing here says fat burning is 60, 70. That's not correct. That's not correct. Around 80 to 90%, that's your fat burning range. You can, if you're new, it can be possible to burn between 60 and 70. But the more steady state cardio you do, the less likely you'll burn fat. The more efficient you'll be at using carbs for energy. The fat burning stage is 80 to 90%. Okay. I don't like this graph here because some people's resting heart rates are close to this number, right? Between the 120 and the 140. Some people's resting heart rates are that high, right? Of course, it's not healthy to be that high, but essentially, depending on your age, depending on your fitness level, it's normally 80 to 90% is your fat burning stage. That's where you want to be in order to burn the most fat that you can. Okay, that's an easy way for me to explain fat burning using the graph below and the upper graph. The thing I didn't like about that graph is this graph here shows it correctly, but the graph above didn't. So it shows 80 to 90% you're using more of your fat stores, which is correct. And between 60 to 70%, you're still only using carbs for as fuel. So that graph above, I didn't like it. It was incorrect. So to review what I talked about, we basically distinguish the difference between steady state and HIIT. So steady state is basically in the simplest way for you to understand forever, a pace you can maintain for a long period of time. The pro about this specific type of cardio is you become more efficient at using carbs for energy. The con about it is you don't burn as much fat in that stage. HIIT cardio is basically change of speeds and directions. The biggest pro about it is you are burning more fat because you are running out of carbs to use for energy, and you're going to your fat stores in order to fuel that workout. The biggest con about HIIT is you cannot do it as long because you get gas very quickly doing it. So those are the two types of cardio, and this is why HIIT cardio is so much more beneficial for burning fat. So if you want more videos like this, subscribe to the channel. It's more motivation. You're going to learn more about fitness, health, motivation, things to help you improve all around. Okay, thank you so much. Like always, get better every day, optimize yourself. I'll see you in the next video. God bless you.